So, Lenny, we begin the episode and we see a flashback to episode 6. So, this might clear up some of the Will versus Divya debate. It appeared to me as though Big Dog grabs you and Isaac and is just like, this is what's happening. We're voting Will. Is that how it felt in the moment? I mean, we'd seen from previous conversations, it seemed like that was kind of your decision anyway. Was
Yeah,
Big Dog just doing this for Isaac's benefit?
I was already thinking Will because I wanted to work with Divya. I think Chris was thinking the same thing. Big Dog was thinking the same thing. And yeah, I think making it clear to Isaac that it's us three amigos, not a big four. It's a big three. Um, it's got to be crushing for Will to hear that.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be watching that one back with him if I was one of you guys.
Yeah, it's rough. Did
I
at
think
any point did me, Chris, or Isaac say big four during any of the episodes? That's what I want to know.
I don't recall. You were the one that proposed that notion to Will, but the words "Big Four" were never uttered by you. Yeah, I can't think of an instance where anyone said it. Anyone said Big Four specifically. But what I've been asking myself, Lenny, is surely it was crazy for you guys. Like, I get that Divya's idol's in your possession, but surely at least get her to play it. Because at this point, you're now in a group of 4 and Divya has an idol. Like, is that not terrifying for you, or are you just praying that you're going to make it through the next week as well to now get to the merge?
I'm just fully backing at this point. I have Divya's full trust,
Right.
um, and that she wouldn't vote me out with that idol. Maybe that's a bit naive, but I think I felt safe. Let's see if it ultimately costs me the game.
I can't help
So
but feel like Big Dog is in pole position here on the Ruber tribe because I feel like if you guys lose next week, I can see any of you getting voted out apart from Big Dog at this point.
yeah,
Because you guys can say, oh, the big 3 were together, we just plow on, we'll just take out Divya, I've got the idol. Or you can say, I want to stick with Divya because of the idol, and me and Big Dog will take out Isaac. Or I can also see Big Dog wanting to keep his alliances with Isaac and Divya and take you out.
no, Big Dog wouldn't take me out. I'm leading that alliance,
But
Mike.
I can see the only one that I can't see. There's no way in hell that you, Isaac, and Divya are getting together to vote off Big Dog.
No, no, that definitely wouldn't happen. I wouldn't even consider it from my end, let alone the other two.
Hmm.
I think that would be, if it happens, it'll be very intense. But hopefully, we actually just win another challenge.
Should we get into Noel? It would be good to get your perspective on this because you were directly involved in this moment. So, but first of all, we see Noel. He's found the Merrick immunity idol, Lenny. What did you
Yes,
make of this? Watching it back.
I had no idea that he'd found it. Um, yeah, well done to him. I think he's done very well to keep it secret, and then gave out a fake clue as well. I did go and check the Ring doorbell after that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, yeah, maybe it's on the camera. I thought maybe it was quite a good fake clue, to be fair.
I mean, as I said at the time, it didn't rhyme.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was easier to find than the Widge one. Let's not take the piss here. Obviously, I'm the better idol finder out of the two of us.
Yeah, that's true. The clue was if it's safety you seek, you must go the right way. Ask Mike where his cupboard is. Peacocks love their penne. Do you think you
Yeah,
could have figured that one out?
I don't think I would have had to ask Mike where his cupboard was, to be honest.
Hmm. I think that the tougher it was a tougher idol for Ruba to find, but it was a tougher clue for Merak to find. So I think
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
whole it probably evened out. Our special guest this week is the man who is currently tied for most votes received so far this season.
Oh,
It is the man who lost to my team twice during this year's Bristol Hats. It is, and I hope that's who I think it is. But I'm hoping that this is going to be one Faris Iskander. Oh,
hey.
there he
Sorry.
is.
Sorry I'm late. I was out doing stuff
It's
That's all
okay.
right.
and also just caught up with episode 7 5 minutes ago.
Nice, nice.
So it's fresh in my mind, don't you worry.
Oh, well, Yeah, lovely
Also,
stuff.
I am using my mom's computer because I didn't bring mine, which is why you saw my mom on the
That was your mum.
yeah.
All right, calm down, Mike. Calm down. Calm down.
You're
Okay.
not allowed to go after all of them, Mike.
Okay, wow, I need to just switch gears here.
You flustered him.
Well, Faris, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I just graduated like yesterday.
Congratulations.
Ooh.
I know, fucking amazing. And I've got a job.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
fantastic.
Yeah, in
Wait.
Southampton, no less.
That's
It was a bit rough.
You
that
and
is
Noel?
sad. Oh, that is unfortunate. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you now.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, to be fair, on the bright side, it's on the other end of Southampton to where everyone else is, so not too fast.
No, but that's great news.
It's near Soden, I think.
Ugh.
Sorry.
I'm doing a research job for like chemical combustion, which isn't exactly my field of study at all. But you know what? I might not have a lot of chemistry knowledge, but I do have a can-do attitude, and I think that'll be
That's all
enough.
you need. That's all you
That's
need.
all you need.
And a
Is that what you
job is
said
a
in the
job.
interview? I don't know how you managed to silver tongue your way in there.
Well, you see, what you have to do is you kind of just have to say yes to everything they ask you to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just when you actually get the job, just don't do it. Don't perform. There's nothing they
Oh,
can do.
don't you worry. I've got like I'm extremely well practiced in bullshitting excuses.
Hmm.
So
Let's just hope your future company's not watching this podcast. It seems a low chance, but not impossible, I guess.
I unless there's like another skunk there.
Hey, there's always a chance, all right?
If Noel's what job does Noel do? Does he do chemical research by any chance?
He doesn't. You've got away with one.
All
I
right,
don't know.
that's
Like
good.
Noel is famously snaky, so I wouldn't put it past him.
Anyway, I'm in Norway at the moment, which is why
Yeah, what are you
it's
up to in
why,
Norway? Are you on holiday?
yeah, you can see
Right.
the northern lights out there in the background.
What, right now?
No, yeah, actually. Okay, is there any way to
Where your
unblur
background's a
this?
bit blurry.
There we are. See, that's a window.
Oh, wow.
So-
Where it's a bit blurry, I reckon there's a part of mine that was like, could be, could
Well, I thought that was like a doorway into a room, and then maybe there was a window behind it.
be.
When it was just green stuff.
Well,
Part of me
I
still
don't.
thinks that.
I'm not that far up north, I'm afraid. I'm in Oslo,
Oh, very
well
nice.
below the Arctic Circle.
Oslo's pretty north in Norway, isn't it?
Oh,
Nah,
not
it's like
really.
literally, it's one of the most southernmost points.
Oh, maybe
I
that's
can see, I can
okay.
see like Denmark from where I live.
Okay.
That is also a lie. Sorry, this podcast is going to be full of lies. I'm very, quite a compulsive liar. I
What's
can't
on
help
this?
but notice that we're all members of the Iskandar family.
Yeah, we got to show you our respect, Faris. What's on your
Uh,
schedule in Norway? What have you been up to so far? What have you got planned?
I've just had a day out with Olivia.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, she lives in Oslo as well.
Oh, that's very cool.
Then we're headed up to
You should have got her on the
Voss.
podcast, Faris.
I really should have, but I don't think she's watched a single episode of Survivor or even knows
Doesn't
what it
matter.
means.
Yeah, it doesn't mean she can't get on the podcast.
After that, headed to Voss, do a bit of mountain climbing, and Bergen, do a bit of swimming and mountain
Oh,
climbing.
lovely. Is Bergen the one that's got all the mountains like surrounding it?
I mean, that's both
Or is that just
Voss
Norway?
and Bergen. That's basically Norway, to be honest. It's a very mountainous country. But yeah, no. I mean, I've got my swimming suit ready. It's fucking freezing, but you know what? Sometimes you have to sacrifice a bit of
Is
yourself.
is there
To...
no like wetsuit hire in Norway?
I mean, that's a bit overkill, isn't it? A
I mean,
wetsuit.
keeps you warm.
Yeah, come on, Lenny.
I I like a good old. If you're going like in the sea, sometimes you want a wetsuit.
I mean, yeah, like about 5 meters into the sea. I'm not scuba diving for ancient treasure.
Okay, all right, okay. So it's
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying it's a bit overkill.
Sorry, Faris. Lenny isn't quite the man of culture that you or I are. Asking if Bergen's near mountains. What a moron. So are you swimming in any fjords then, Faris?
Oh yeah. Bergen Fjord, one of the deepest fjords in Norway, apparently. 11,000 meters or something, some ridiculous shit like that.
Oh,
eleven
shit.
thousand meters.
Yeah.
Are
I,
you sure?
I think the Mariana Trench is like 12,000.
I have to call that another Faris lie there.
Well, all right. That could be Olivia just pulling my leg.
I can't believe how
But
easily I just believed him. God, I'm glad I wasn't playing this season.
You should have gone further with line skills like this, Faris.
well, I mean, I didn't have the chance, did I? I got kicked out like second place.
Well, yeah. Sorry about
That's all right. Don't worry. I don't think anyone in this video call was particularly responsible for that. So
All right, well,
yeah.
we can talk about this. So first, just before we get into your role that may still continue in this season, obviously with the redemption challenge still up ahead. What would you say your Survivor experience was pre Survivor Southampton season two?
Obviously, we watched Survivor Southampton season 1. Was it all the episodes? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was all the episodes in that one building that I can't quite remember the name of. So that was my first official preparation into Survivor. I have watched these types of game shows before. In Malaysia, we have this game called The Amazing Race, which is basically like Survivor, except there's a lot more running involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's The Mole, another Survivor-esque game that
Have you seen the new one on
um
Netflix, by the way?
yeah, they're in Malaysia at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole season was in there. Yeah.
Yeah. They filmed an episode in Jalan Dovi, which is literally like 10 minutes away from where I live. But they were in front of an ice cream shop and I was very happy.
Did you figure out who the mole was, Faris?
I did not.
I actually kept notes this season.
I
There
didn't
was
actually
like
finish the season, so you have a clue. Have they confirmed it or
they only put the last two episodes out like last week, so
oh I haven't caught up.
well,
Has
I,
your
I won't spoil it for you. But what I can say is that I successfully ruled out, I think, how many players were there? There's like 12. I successfully ruled out nine of them after episode one. And then from then on, it's just like, well, I know it's one of these three. And then I narrowed it down to two. But unfortunately,
that.
then they both made it pretty far into the game. So it wasn't
Is
until
this
right at the end.
is this game similar to the CBBC show Trapped by any chance?
There's there's a few parallels. This one's a bit more high budget, I would say. Maybe if you imagine Trapped as Survivor Southampton season one, then the mole is Survivor Southampton season two.
Okay, that's great explanation.
Yeah, and it has it's obviously with adults and but with the mole, it's one player is like the mole throughout the whole thing, as opposed to Trapped where
Okay,
it changes
okay.
each round. Shout out to Sequester player Muna, who was on this season of the mole. And yeah, that's another kind of Survivor-esque reality platform that she played. So I was aware of her before that um, because of that.
okay.
I'd seen that. And therefore I was just like, there's no way she's going to be the mole for that reason. But maybe I was wrong. Anyway, Faris, coming into Survivor Southampton season two, so you know you're going to play.
hmm
Beforehand, did you have any like plans, any preparation? Did you have any idea of who else might be in the game, who you might want to team with, who you might want to try and take out?
Well, right. So I knew that Holly was in the game. And my initial plan was to initially team up with them and then stab them in the back. And I'm happy to say that that was also the initial plan for me. So it was mutual. Although, to be honest, rewatching this last episode of Survivor, I've completely forgotten how ruthless Holly is. And I think they would definitely have pulled that off better than I could. No, my basic plan I put in my intro video was just try and lay low, keep under the radar, slowly pick everyone off.
And how do you think that strategy worked?
Like a lead balloon, it did not.
Lenny, he's biding his time. He's making sure he didn't have to break any friendships. Now he's just waiting until the redemption challenge, and then he can come back
Yeah,
in and
exactly.
just
That's true.
dominate.
I once the redemption challenge comes, you better watch out.
Get revenge on those few Ruber members left that voted you out.
Yeah,
No, you did vote for me first, Faris.
I did. I
I will
did.
say.
Hey, look, game's the game, right? And I knew you were already, even that early on, you were already a massive target, mainly because of your performance in the first season. So I thought you were quite a safe target to you know, strike out.
So Faris, was Lenny your biggest target on the Ruber tribe? If you were looking, you got there, you saw who was on your tribe. Were you excited to be with any of these players? Were you just like, I'd like to team with like Lenny or Big Dog or anyone?
I was planning on teaming up with Holly and Lenny because I know you, Lenny, also like Holly quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was particularly worried about Big Dog, to be honest, because uh
Very well connected.
he's very well connected. He's a person that's easy to underestimate, but because he's like so quiet. But I do think that especially after post merger, he was definitely going to be one of the strongest players. And Archie and Slaw were the two people I was kind of hoping to throw under the bus first. I feel
Well,
like,
one for two. It's not
well,
bad.
yeah, I feel like we were about similarly matched, and I was like, well, if I can last longer than these two, I'm happy. I'm a happy man.
We get to the first tribal council, and Lucy picks four people to get up and leave. So it's now you, Lenny, Isaac, Big Dog, and Archie. Can you
Yeah.
take us through the emotions of being sat there, being like, there's a good chance here that this is me? How did you feel at that time?
I genuinely thought it was gonna be me because before that happened, I was like, well, my initial plan was staying under the radar and hiding myself in the crowd. And after that happened, the crowd got a hell of a lot smaller. So I was completely blindsided by that. I genuinely thought that was it for me. I'm hit it off. Wasn't Slaw one of those as well who got
Yeah, Slaw
uh
was saved, so Slaw was out of there.
yeah. So it was either me or Archie, to be honest.
Yeah. I will say it was very, very unlucky for you and Archie to get left
Yeah.
with the three people that already decided that they were going to ally together. Um,
Yeah.
and then because you got voted in that one, it was just an easy excuse to vote you in the next one, which I think basically ruined what could have been, and often is quite a good strategy of just
Hmm.
laying low for a while. So I think you were shafted by Mike, realistically.
Well,
And
no,
if you
we
wanted
were.
someone to play,
Well, first of all, you were shafted by Lucy. Second of all, you were shafted by Lenny, who eliminated you in that first in the first reward challenge.
that that man right there, he
No,
ruined your game.
You're
this
really
dickhead,
not you're
this
really not
dickhead,
pointing.
this
Neither of you
dickhead
are
took you
pointing at the
out.
right person.
No, on my screen we will be. In the reward
Oh.
challenge, he took you out, and if you'd have won that, you would have been safe. All right. And then secondly, I think it was probably him that put your name forward in round two to get voted off.
Oh,
Who's
Lenny, how could you?
who's to say? Who's to say?
I haven't watched back
Hey,
episode two recently, but it was either you, Isaac, or Big Dog, and it seems unlikely to me that it will be Isaac.
Faris or who's going to be your biggest target?
Yeah, Faris.
see, this makes me really sad that I feel like if I hadn't voted for you, I have a lot of righteous indignation right now. But but unfortunately, I did vote for you, so I can't exactly complain.
Yeah, the game's the game. The game's the game.
The game is the game.
Game's a game.
Um, so Faris, how did it feel throughout the rest of the pre-merge to see Ruba losing over and over again? Was it satisfying or was it sad?
Oh, it was sad. I mean, I know I got kicked out by Ruber like quite early on, but I did feel a bit of camaraderie there. And honestly, at some point, I feel like Mika was it Mika?
Mirak.
Mirak. I feel like they grew more and more arrogant the more games they won.
Yeah.
Um, Up the Cox is a horrible slogan as well. And it did haunt my dreams that night, I'm afraid to say. So yeah, I was wholeheartedly, you know, hoping for Mirak to take a beating at some point.
And yet they just kept trucking on through the Ruba tribe one by one. Faris, I spoke to Mrs. Price, my mum, and I informed her that you were going to be on with us today. And I think we've lightly touched on this already, but I did ask her if she had any questions for you, and she said, "Was there anything you wish you'd done differently?"
I should have put myself out there more because obviously putting yourself out there, trying to win those challenges, that's a real big hit or miss. If you succeed at it, especially early on like that, if you succeed at it, you're on. But if you fail at it, like I don't want to say any names here. Will in the second challenge, and then that puts a really big target on your back really quickly.
Mm.
So I thought as long as I don't draw any attention to myself, I'd be fine. But I think that was not the way to go.
It was a toss-up, really, because I think arguably if you put yourself forward and then you still lose, then everyone will be like, "Oh, we'll take out Faris because he tried this and it didn't work." I think the only hope there is that you put yourself forward, really back yourself, and then you then carry the team to the win.
Yeah,
But I think what you
that
did
was
was
a
a
good
smart
one.
strategy if you were like had all of the knowledge of the game that you knew that you would be in trouble there.
Yeah.
We have the redemption challenge coming up, Faris. So there is still hope for you here. Who were you thinking at the time you might like to work with upon a return to the game?
A good play would have been to worm myself into an alliance with Lenny, to be honest.
I would have happily let that happen. Don't you worry.
Mainly because in if I was in an alliance with Lenny, I feel like Lenny, by virtue of being taller than me, makes himself a bigger target than I would be. So I'm hoping that their eyes would sort of glide off me and onto Lenny to pick as a target.
A bit of a Oscar Josky Martin strategy.
A little bit like that, yeah.
So you get knocked out second. More and more people are getting kicked out, joining you in the redemption challenge. Were you sitting there thinking, "Oh, I really wouldn't like to be up against so and so"? Was there anyone in the game that you were just like, "I really don't want to be against them in this challenge"?
Straff. I don't know. Those are the big ones. I feel like if I was put into especially anything like physical related.
Lenny, do you have a take on this?
I was in there. I'd really not want to be against Strath.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely the challenge beast, isn't he? Oscar as well this season. I wouldn't want to be against him. The performances he's been putting in week in week. Well, apart from the puzzle and the bop it, but he's been very very good. People I would want to be against. I'm not sure. I think Sock would probably crumble in a redemption challenge. I think a lot of, to be honest, a lot of the Ruber tribe I'd be happy to be up against because I think we've shown that we're as a tribe we were natural losers. So I've got a better chance if it's 7 people for the
Oh, don't
Ruber
be
tribe
so hard.
battling it out.
Ruber's lovely.
Yeah, we're lovely people, but we're not very good at winning, are we?
We've been giving Oscar a lot of flowers for his challenge performances. And you got Will and Isaac who are no slouches, but I think personally, I'd back myself in most things, but Strath would be the person that I'd fear the most going into one of these unknown challenges, I think. All right, Faris, are you keen to dive into to the latest episode?
Yeah, I got my list of notes right here.
All right, so we were just
Talking
beginning to
points.
cover the Noel Idol find. Do you have any takes on this? Did you think the clue was particularly easy to follow? So the
Right,
clue
yeah.
was, if it's safety you seek, you must go the right way. Ask Mike where his cupboard is. Peacocks love their penne. Do you reckon you would have been able to solve that one?
Ask Mike where his cupboard is. Well, I mean, that makes me think it's in the cupboard, so I probably would have spent a lot of time searching the cupboard. Um, Penne, probably looking for I don't know, a coin of some sort.
To be fair, you would have been able to see it was written down. It would have been Penne rather than
Oh, penne, not penny. Okay.
yeah.
That does make it easier.
Hmm. You don't happen to keep pasta in your cupboard, do you?
There we go. He would have found it. He would have found it straight away. Yeah, the other thing that you couldn't actually quite see on the film was so the peacock was actually it was cut out, so there was another half of the peacock which was stuck onto the penne box to make it
Yeah.
even more obvious because there were two penne boxes in there. I don't think Noel actually saw that, but he just dug his way through and found it anyway. Um, well, yeah, I mean, we don't actually have to speculate about Noel's idol because we do see that he used it later on in the episode, but
Hmm.
before we get to Noel gloating about his idol find, also, can I say props to him for finding it with Divya walking straight past and not noticing, and then Sock walking straight past and not noticing.
That's more. I feel like that's more a fault on Divya and Sock's part than any
I feel like Divya in
any
particular,
skill on Noel.
what was going on there? Divya had her blinders on. But Lenny, you then walk up, and first of all, were you suspicious in any way? You walk into him, I'm filming Noel.
No, I think I wasn't suspicious at all, to be honest with you. Just happy to see my good friend Noel. Um, yeah, I didn't think anything of it, which maybe I wasn't quite as switched on as I should be. But I
Hmm.
don't know, in between the rounds, you're sort of out of that survivor mode a little bit. So I guess I just wasn't really thinking about it.
There is a lot of general filming anyway. It's not as though I don't only film when idols are being found, so like
Yeah,
it would have been an easy thing to believe.
but
But
no, didn't suspect a thing.
we get a brief insight, Lenny, into your mental state at this time, and you talk about how exhausting it is.
It is. We've had like maybe a 20-minute break at this point, 25-minute break
Hmm.
out of the whole morning where we've just been, for us, it's just been, for the Blue Tribe, they've had their feet up half the time, but we really have been all out all day. And,
It was it was toiling physically. It was toiling emotionally.
yeah, it's tough. Obviously, I was loving it because I was voting off people. So, but you don't want to seem too happy about that.
Hmm.
We do catch you saying to Noel, Lenny, that it's obvious who the people are on top of his tribe. Are you going to try and claim any credit here for Strath's ouster?
Yeah, it was me. Uh, I I'm taking full credit for this week's episode. Not only am I voting off people on the Ruber tribe, I'm doing it on the Merak tribe as well, uh, by proxy. Um, he is one of the people I was referring to be fair. But I'd probably put let's just sort of him, Noel, Max, Ben Roberts, the louder people I was referring to.
So we go straight to the start of the challenge. And first of all, we see Merak's entrance celebration. Personally, I think it's
Hmm.
their best one yet.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought it was
I
fantastic.
was I was confused what they were doing like halfway through, but once they brought out that that trophy,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was
I could I could I could see the vision.
a touching guard of honor for
Hmm.
Noel.
Yeah. All right. So exciting stuff there. So we get into the trivia challenge. Okay.
Hmm.
Faris, do you have any takes on this? So we see a lot of questions thrown around, a lot of answers, a lot of frisbee related questions, a couple of quiz and curry related questions.
Is this for the whole for the whole challenge?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you let Isaac off the hook like way too easily. That's my main complaint with this. 28 times 3. I mean, I can't do it now. I'm not that good at maths, but like he made his answer.
but he didn't say final answer, Faris. And,
Yeah, but
Just to be
neither
known,
did
it
anyone
made no
else.
difference to the end of the challenge, so it didn't matter. So we're okay.
Um, I did feel you were reaching a bit for chicken wing. Wing of a chicken's a bit too much of a yeah. Big Dog's question with the what was it, the ninth and 15th letters of the alphabet? I feel like
Yeah.
once you get the ninth alphabet, you should be able to get the 15th one quite easily.
I don't know why he had to stop and go back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He got to I and then was just like, okay, 15th. All right, let me start from A again.
I didn't even consider that. That is.
I mean, no, but at this point it was still frisbee throws. What other throws start with an I? Yeah, no, I have deep sympathies for what happened to Max because he had no chance to defend himself from being
Was that
eliminated that challenge.
was that just good strategy from the Ruba tribe?
Didn't consider that, but you know what? Maybe. No, you know what? That's a good point. Didn't consider
Yeah,
that.
I mainly asked because it was my idea, so just trying to
What,
get
to
some
eliminate
credit.
Max first? Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the
unfortunate.
smart strategy is definitely to dogpile on someone, especially picking Max was the smart move because it meant that he would then be at the end of the line. And if in theory you were all to get your questions right, then you could
yeah,
eliminate him before it even got to him.
and then we get an extra go.
Yeah,
So
Oh, fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily for you, Oscar chunked his frankly easy Bop It question.
Flick it. Yeah. That was grim, even as I watched it.
Faris, are you a Bop It man? Because Lenny's been claiming that he's never seen one.
I haven't seen one in person. I have seen the adverts, but I haven't seen an actual Bop It.
I don't think they're that common.
I genuinely, I don't even know what they are. Like, I've seen what they do in adverts. I don't know what they do in real life.
Would you have known that it was Flick It? Would you have known?
Yeah, because I've
Okay.
seen the adverts, like, and it was still like frisbee throws. So maybe it would have taken me a bit of time, but I feel like I would have got it in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry, just to for some of our international viewers, just to define what a bop it is, it's basically this kind of it's just a kid's toy that basically kind of plays like a beat and then it goes bop it and then you hit bop it and it's like pull it and you're like "Brr," and it's like spin it and you're like so you just kind of do what it says. It's just kind of a follow basic instructions kind of game, and the idea is to get like the high score. And then there's different modes, so you can do like the pass it mode. So you just play it and then you pass to your friend, and then you've got to try and accumulate the largest score. And then it usually remembers your best score. I think my high score was in like the 300s.
Okay, then I was completely mistaken because I thought it was some sort of top.
What, like a spinning top?
Yeah, like
Oh,
bop it, and then it just like spins around from
well, like a
there.
Beyblade. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
To be fair, it might just be that I'm dating myself. Bop-its were a big thing when I was younger, but when all
No, I
these
definitely.
fuckers were
I
younger,
remember.
they were
I
into like
remember the
PlayStations
Bop
and
It,
shit.
but yeah, it does sound a bit shit, doesn't it, when you describe it?
Hey, it was really exciting when I was younger. Those and Tamagotchis, that was where all the
Oh,
I can't
we had.
I can't complain. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, so
Me too. I've got a Yu-Gi-Oh in my room actually, but don't know if we've quite got the time for that today. Um,
unfortunate.
so Lenny Ruber do win this immunity challenge. What's the feeling? Are you just like, thank goodness we don't have to go to tribal
yeah,
council?
yeah. Essentially, just
Mm.
so happy. Just a bit of a break. Really wanted us as a four to go to the merge at this point. So I'm praying that we win this and the next challenge, and that we make it, and then I think we'll be in a very good position, the four of us.
Hmm. Did you back
Um,
yourself? Because obviously, of course, we have some of the Quiz and Curry legends. So Ruber had yourself, Big Dog, and Isaac, who were part of the previous Big Dog cohort. And then you were playing against Noel and Oscar, who were both on the team. But then, did you back yourself?
I did. I think I back Isaac as a very good quizzer, and Big Dog on his day, fantastic. But after the first couple where we dogpiled on Max and they didn't, so I think maybe after like the fourth go, I was pretty confident we'd win. I think we actually won one.
All right. Shall we move to the strategy section of the
Yeah.
round? So now
All
we go to
right.
Mirak, and I've got a list here of what appeared to be what people were wanting to do, and then we can sort of talk about what then happened. So Based on the start of the round, we have Ben, Holly, and Max who all want to get rid of Noel. We have Noel, Billy, and Sock who want to get rid of Strath or Ben.
Yeah.
And we have Strath who wants to get out Billy. And we have Oscar who has no opinion other than the fact that he doesn't want Noel gone.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just a mess, wasn't it? It was just an absolute mess for
Well,
20 minutes.
In fairness, I don't think they thought they were going to lose, so they hadn't come up with like a strategy or anything like that internally. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Holly puts together quite a good plan. I mean, Noel had an idol, so it was never going to work. But yeah, I don't know why Max was talked out of it, and who else was talked out of it? Because she did have 5 people.
I mean, it seemed like at some point she thought she had
Oh, Sock as
Billy
well.
and Sock.
Yeah.
And I think Oscar kind of flirted with the idea. Actually, no, Oscar was the opposite. He always shot it down.
All I know about Oscar is that he thinks Noel is an ally. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's
Bless
all
his
we've got from
heart.
Oscar so far. What do you guys make of this? So the only names that weren't actually said at all this round were, first of all, Max, and secondly, Sock, because when he was brought up to Noel, Noel said that essentially Sock is so incompetent he'll get himself voted out post-merge, so they don't need to worry about him.
I did hear that. I did hear that.
Just genius from Sock, really. He's been put on that act for an entire year
Yeah.
at Sculls just to
He was
secure
playing the long game. Playing the long game.
Fair play.
But Faris, I think it's an interesting sort of dichotomy between the Merak and Ruba voting strategies in the sense that Ruba appeared based on like players like Will and like the strategies they kept saying, let's vote out the weaker players so we can do better in the challenges, versus Merak, who appear to be saying, let's just take out the threats. Do you think this is just because Merak are going to tribal council later on in the pre-merge?
Yeah, I was going to say I think that's just because this was quite late in the game. The merge was coming quite soon. I don't think there's a different mindset from Merak seeing how they voted Zhao out in the last strategy session. So I think this was more due to timing than anything else.
Lenny, what do you think about Sock threatening Oscar?
I thought it should have been the episode title. You're in tepid water.
Yeah. There are a lot of good contenders for this one, but for me it was always going to be a slam dunk with the final quote.
Yeah, I thought it just very funny. Oh yeah, Sock is fantastic entertainment to watch. I just love that man.
All right, I've got a smart/dumb moment for both of you guys, and I like your take on it. Okay, we finally get some insight into Oscar's strategy, other than him wanting to keep Noel. Okay, he says to Sock, "I don't double back, so I don't commit until I'm sure." Okay, is this a smart strategy to have, or is it dumb for him to tell Sock this? Like, what do we make of this?
I think with Oscar, because of his reputation, it's not the worst thing in the world. Because everyone's watched that season 1, it's like, yeah, Oscar, just loyal man. Will stick to what he says.
I feel like it's part of his branding, if nothing else.
I mean, if you do actually stick to that, then you're quite easy to exploit at that point, aren't you? But if he can, change it up in this game and lie a little bit, I think that can really work out for him.
Well, that's what I thought was happening. I think he had a few schemes of his own cooking up in his head.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I've been wondering from this, Faris, is was he just kind of attempting to tell Sock what he wants to hear? Because actually he's waiting to see what Noel thinks, because he's saying that he's Noel's ally, and he's basically just waiting to see what Noel says, and then he'll just go with that.
Oski's quite a diehard ally of Noel, so I think he was trying to see where the waters were headed. And by waters, I mean where Noel's waters specifically were headed.
Okay. But if you're Oscar, do you not just make the effort to a bit sooner in the round just go and talk to Noel? Like maybe in the first 5 minutes? Is it that tricky to get
Well,
Noel
once there's like 3 people there, you kind of feel like, well, if I get in now, they're not actually going to be able to talk about anything because there's too many people. Can't talk.
Put him right at the start, Oscar. What are you doing? If he's
Trees
the one
Trees already a crowd.
Yeah. Insane behaviour.
Well, one thing we've been discussing the last couple of weeks, Faris, primarily when the only other time Merrick went to tribal council, Oscar had a chat with Holly a couple of episodes ago and was saying how he was a good ally. But Lenny and I were discussing, is he a good ally for Holly specifically? Because it seems if he's aligning with Noel, then that's fine. But that's not someone that Holly wants around anyway. So would it be a smart play for a lot of Merrick to get together and be like, okay, well, he's not working with us, so it doesn't matter how honest he is. If he's not working with us, so we may as well just have him out of the game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he'd be a good ally for Holly specifically because Holly doesn't want Noel in the game. I don't know how the rest of the team's feelings towards having Noel in the game is, but I feel like that's going to go a long way in their opinions on whether Oscar's a good ally or not.
Because I mean, we saw a couple of weeks ago that Noel was happy to cut Oscar. Oscar was sticking up for Noel. Noel was very keen to get Oscar out at one point until Strath and Max turned the tide against Zhao.
Well, Oscar didn't know that, or at least I don't think Oscar knew that. Otherwise, he'd have turned. But that's just Noel. That's just Noel gaming, really.
I think it's time to try and apportion credit for this move. Okay, let's. I thought there was only four contenders here, but it turns out it's five. How much credit do we give Lenny first of all, and then? There appeared to be a particularly significant conversation between Noel, Oscar, and Billy about halfway through this strategy portion, where basically they get together and Noel's just like, are we going to pull the trigger on Strath or are we going for Ben? And it seemed like based off what Oscar and Billy said then would have decided the vote, but it's sort of ambiguous as to who suggests Strath. So who do we want to give the credit for this? Also, Sock is in there as well because he was kind of on board from the minute they said it. It's just he was then going around. Faris, who do you reckon?
No, I think Noel deserves the credit for that, bringing his name up. With the merger coming soon, Strath is definitely a big threat to be considered, and I think Noel was smart in putting his name out like that. I think even if Noel hadn't, his name would have come up naturally.
Yeah, it seemed like Billy was sort of leaning that direction as well. So I think it definitely would have been talked about. Yeah, Lenny, who do you reckon? Do you think Noel as well getting credit for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to the man, I'm afraid.
All right, so we'll give Noel the credit. We can chat in a minute about whether we think it was a good move or not for Noel. But first of all, should we decide whether Strath was smart or dumb here? He said he wanted to keep strength in the team. Do we think this is a good or a bad idea?
It
Bad.
shows he loved the Merak tribe.
Yeah, points for loyalty, but with the merger coming up, I don't think you want to keep strength in the team at that point.
But at
You
the
want to
same
remove
time,
strength from the team.
if you're Strath, I feel like you sort of have to be wanting to keep straight. Because as soon as you say, let's get rid of the strong players from our tribe, then everyone's gonna be like, well, you're a strong player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I suppose
that's
this
true.
player. So
I think a player like Strath probably does want the strong players still in the game for the merge, and I don't know if like it's definitely smart because if Strath's at the merge with a load of weak players, then they're all just like, wait, hang on, Strath's way better than all of us. As soon as he
yeah,
loses immunity, we have to take him out. I think sort of Strath's only play or his smartest play would be to try and keep in all of these physically strong players so that he's a bit more hidden, which is why I think maybe a player like Noel taking out Strath wouldn't be a great idea because Noel himself is a physically strong player and Oscar as well.
yeah. If you're considered a threat, you want other people that are considered threats to still be there, just to shield yourself a
Mm.
bit.
Yeah, that is true. I haven't considered that.
There's a lot of talk this strategy session about the risk of a Noel and Lenny alliance. Faris, can you speak to like the sort of worry that these like post-merge alliances would be, especially with players like Noel and Lenny getting together, having seen season one yourself?
Well, the risk is that if Noel and Lenny get together, they have such a gravity around them that I feel like they'd be almost impossible to kick out if they weren't isolated, and they end up somehow sticking around till pretty much the end of the game, where it's who can guess. So I feel like making sure those alliances aren't formed or making sure they get broken early is quite important for everyone who isn't Noel or Lenny.
I mean, Lenny, that was a big factor you said last week as to why you voted off Will. So
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of an excuse to just vote off Will, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's there. I do not trust Noel. I will say, on the thought of a Lenny Noel alliance, I don't trust that man at this point in the game. After last season, he's the reason I went out. So I've got no trust in him at all. So I'm not sure why people were so worried about it, because I don't think we were the real alliance of season one anyway.
You're a hard man to read, Lenny. You're a hard man to read.
And that's just because I lie to everyone constantly.
Okay, so towards the end of this strategy section, Noel's having a conversation with Ben, and just beforehand, Oscar has snitched to Noel that Ben was trying to vote him out. And Noel essentially confirms it when he catches Ben doing this. At this point, should he have switched the target to Ben? Like, if Ben's trying to take you out, Strath isn't going for him. Ben is. Is this a
Yeah,
miss from Noel?
maybe, yeah. Yeah, I think if it was me, I'd be like rallying the people I've got and just be like, do you know what? Let's just take Ben out. Bastard. But I guess sometimes depends how late, doesn't it? Because if it's right at the end, it can be a bit difficult to get everyone to switch, make sure everyone's on board. So sometimes it's better to stick to the plan and wait for your next opportunity to
Hmm.
come around.
I mean, could he have leveraged the fact that he had the idol, Faris?
He'd have needed to have known the way the waters were going. Oh God, I'm becoming like Billy. I've got way too many water metaphors. Um, he needed to have known the way the waters were blowing much in a much firmer way than he did to really make a plan of the idol. I think he was still trying to save it.
Okay, so we get to tribal council, and we do see we do hear a lot of bullshit water analogies from various players. Lenny, Oscar has an interesting reaction to these. Can you please explain a little bit behind?
Uh, Sorry.
Take your
I actually talked
time.
about this in my intro. You didn't put it in, which I was very gutted about. But we went to Bournemouth Beach at the end of last year, just before this Survivor game. And Oscar, wearing his glass, he's always wearing his glasses, but we went in the water to play a bit of map line. He goes down to reach the disc, wave hits him, glasses come off. Unfortunate, but it's fine. Oscar brings his spare pair of glasses, his prescription sunglasses with him, so it's no real problem. He goes looking for his glasses with the new glasses on though. Obviously, you would think he'd learn not to bend down because the waves will knock off his glasses, but unfortunately, at that point, he does lose the prescription sunglasses to the wave. But it's okay because Oscar finds his glasses shortly
Hey,
after. At which point, obviously, he's learned his lesson, and he
okay.
keeps his glasses on. Oh no, he does the exact same thing again, loses his glasses for good this time, and then has to ensure. I think Rachel to drive him home because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can't drive, which is just oh my, it's just so
Well,
just so stupid.
in fairness, research has shown that it for different people it takes different amounts of time for a lesson to truly settle in. And maybe for Oscar, it's just like it hadn't reached that time yet.
How many pairs of glasses do you think he would need before he'd stop?
Hmm.
God, I'm just imagining an endless cycle of Oscar slowly traipsing back to get another pair of glasses out of his bag and just going back into the sea to lose them. At Tribal Council, Noel gives out a fake idol clue. What do we think of this?
Yeah, I mean, he did say before that he had a clue that he couldn't work out, and what a better way to get people on board by give them a clue that they won't be able to work out or won't be able to find the answer to. Yeah, it fooled me. Um, One of the most intelligent people you ever meet. So
I mean, at this point, this is one of Merak's few losses, so they're probably disorganized, uncertain about everything. So he's
yeah,
just adding a bit more uncertainty in there to thin out the numbers a bit.
Hmm?
yeah, I think so.
Oh, Lenny, what did you think of this Tribal Council? Because obviously the Ruber tribe came to watch. Is this sort of what the sort of shenanigans you'd expect from Merak?
Yeah, I forgot that happened. I was genuinely watching the episode. I was like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen at Tribal Council, and then I see myself walking in. I'm like, oh, I guess I've seen this before.
I mean, I was sat outside having enjoying the lovely weather, having a chat with Veronica.
Yeah, I think it was not the most. Oh, I didn't learn anything, I'd say.
What? I did everything to help you. I told you that Holly had said that the Blue Tribe were going to team up at the merge. I told you exactly what the votes were at the previous tribal council.
Yeah, but it's all just words, isn't it? It's all just words. Everyone says that they're going to stick together at the merge.
Yeah, you can never trust
You'd be a
it.
fucking idiot to go, oh, no, I'm going to go over to the red team at the merge because
Mike, you must have. I feel like you'd not be as good a Survivor contestant as you think you would be. I'm sorry to say.
Guys, we know that I'd absolutely tear up. But the thing was, so that was always planned for whoever won the seventh immunity challenge, they would be present at that tribal council. It just so happened that there was very little information for them to gather because Merak had only been to one other tribal council. So there's very little that I could give that would be any use to them.
they could have, yeah, they would have learned a lot more off of us, I think.
Mm.
Do we think Noel was smart to play his idol here?
Yeah, I think so.
It was going to expire at the merge anyways, and he didn't know when that was going to be, but
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely going to be soon. So I
Uh,
think, yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry, isn't it?
yeah, and I feel like at this point, Noel knew he was a bit of a target already. And knowing that the merge is soon, he's already got a bit of a target on his back. It's probably the best call he could make, to be honest.
okay, all right. We'll put that onto a smart move then. Strath is voted off here. Which players in the Merak tribe is this good for?
Definitely good for Noel.
Hmm.
Do
That
you reckon
makes
it's good
him
for
like,
Noel? Strath wasn't coming for him.
but I think it makes him more of like the sort of leader of that tribe at that point.
He does consolidate his power a bit, but then will that not make him more of a target?
Well, that's true. But if we go into the merge, then he's got, I guess, yeah, a big target, but he's in a quite a nice position if he can rally the troops where he's the
Hmm.
leader.
He might have players like Ben that feel sort of indebted to him for Ben not being voted off there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's bad for, um, well, the main people that Strath was sort of talking to, working with. It's definitely not good for Holly, who was trying to orchestrate the null vote,
Hmm.
lost someone that she could get on side. Probably not good for Mr. Berline, who,
I was actually going to argue it would have been good for Max for
oh
much the same
really?
reason you said it was a good for Noel.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Eliminated another leader figure.
I mean, Max and Strath do vote together. They're the two votes for Ben, and then we have Ben and Holly both voting Noel, which are nullified, and then it's Noel, Oscar, Billy, and Sock's votes that send Strath out of the game. Do we think this is good for Sock?
In terms of
Hmm.
big names, he's now a bigger name, so maybe not, but
Because like in the last episode, we saw that Ruba was saying once we get to the merge, we need to get rid of Noel, Sock, and Strath. So now there's only two of those names left.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like Strath might have been one of the people gunning for Sock actually after the merger. So I think in that regard it would have been good for him.
And let's talk a bit about Strath now as we eulogize him here as he leaves us in episode 7. Lenny, what do you think of the undisputed leader of Merak?
yeah, a champion. I don't want to put all their victories just down to him, but I think he does bring that winning mentality to the team. And if I had to pick one person to have on a tribe with me from the start, I'd probably pick Strath. Probably strategically, we saw on that vote, maybe not the best, having been told that Noel was going to vote for him, and people were going to go vote for Noel. Maybe maybe a good idea to join them and also vote for Noel, but it wouldn't have mattered either way. Poor guy. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I hope everyone comes back apart from Archie. Um,
No, I feel like in terms of eliminating the threat, I think taking out Strath was definitely the best choice because Strath was a champion and gone too soon, I think.
What do you think of Strath as a character? We did hear a lot of him throughout the game, very much the spokesperson for Merak, especially in the confessionals at the end of challenges.
Yeah.
Then a dynamic confessional giver, do you reckon?
yeah, he's one of the better ones, isn't he? He's just quite funny generally. Like him and Max as a duo, I find particularly amusing.
He's got a
Yeah,
lot of self-confidence that makes his confessionals fun to watch.
Definitely one of the players that I enjoyed the most in the pre-merge section of the game. I'm gutted to see him go. You've got to imagine he's going to be one of the players organising all of their little pre-challenge celebrations.
Oh yeah, it was definitely his idea to do the first one.
Absolutely.
Got that set in motion.
Up the Cox. I thought it was either him or Max, but either way.
Yeah, I think between the two of them, they ran that tribe. They
The
ran
two
that
troublemakers.
fan corner.
Yeah, go on then.
So Faris, this is something that we do every week. We see what the word is on the street from all the fans. I compile a little bit of feedback, and then we just go through it.
All
So
right.
might be a few shout outs to some of the players. Let's see what we've got this week. Okay, the black and white edit showing Will never had a chance against Big Dog and bro number two Isaac. Absolute savagery there. Yeah, Faris, do you have an opinion on this right at the start of the episode? We see that Big Dog was kind of the one that was calling the shots against Will. Do you think that was pretty savage from Big Dog?
I think it was. I feel like I would have probably sympathized with Will more if I didn't think that he'd probably have done the exact same thing where he switched places with Big Dog.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, apparently, Lenny, it was noticed that apparently, I don't know where it was, presumably in the scene where I'm talking to Noel, we have 4 washing up liquids all open at once.
That is very Westridge Road.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
Noel potentially set up to be very OP. Yeah, Faris, what do you think about Noel's extra vote?
Noel's probably one of the people I least trust with an extra vote.
Big Dog not covering himself in glory with that alphabet question. Yeah, we've already mocked him for that. That's pretty poor from Big Dog.
Embarrassing.
Oh, a lot of people saying that Max has really been the highlight for this episode. So shout out to Max. Yeah, good stuff there. Good confessionals, blah blah blah. A lot of outrage that people don't know about the safety dance. Apparently, Ben was awkward in the strategy section with Oscar and Strath, apparently. So you have to keep your eyes on that if you're watching that one back. I don't know. I think Oscar was the one that made it awkward because Ben was just like, I really want to vote Noel. And Oscar was just like, I don't want to vote Noel. But I think sometimes.
Oscar was so awkward. Just let him speak a little bit, Oscar.
Oscar's ride or die with Noel. I can respect that.
I think sometimes you have to do that, though. You just have to completely shoot it down. At which point Ben would have been like, all right, well, who's your second favourite person here, Oscar? And we'll take them out. Yeah, people thinking that maybe Noel should have played his extra vote. Yeah, what do you think of that? Do you reckon it was... Because like the extra vote can last beyond the merge. Do you reckon idle extra vote? Do you think it was the smart play to...
I think idle.
Yeah, I'd say idle.
Just because you can use the extra vote in the future.
Okay. Noel coming over and Max and Holly immediately talking about the challenge to try and play it cool was painful, actually. Yeah, I don't remember them doing a very good job at lying to Noel.
Not great. Not great.
Not very impressive from them.
Not the best liars. Not the best liars.
Oh, apparently there was a good editing by me. There was a Ben Roberts confessional saying that his name hasn't been mentioned, only for there immediately to be a cut to Billy throwing Ben under the bus to Strath.
Yeah, I wrote that down as well. That was quite funny. Well done, Mike.
Noel calling the shots there with Billy and Oscar is really something to watch, actually. Okay, so it looks like the fans seem to think that it was Noel responsible for this one. So, okay, watch this back, because I didn't notice this. Apparently, Sock doesn't fucking blink at all in that pre-vote confessional. It's so freaky. I will be watching that back. Oh, yeah, what do we think of Strath at Tribal Council saying, yeah, I'll probably vote for Noel?
It's a bold strategy. I
didn't vote for Noel.
Yeah. Just classic Strath. I just don't even think he cares about the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
Just doing the challenges.
Okay. Oh yeah, and everyone was sad to see Strath go, and then Joust Short was commented on. My clever pun for the next episode. Shall we get to the teaser minute? Faris, do you have any more notes that you took for this particular episode? Anything that hasn't come up that you wanted to just comment on?
No, we've actually covered everything.
Very thorough.
Well, that's the look of a good podcast right there. Well done, us.
Very thorough.
Thorough.
If you know, you know podcast.
I mean, I just want to just comment on the stupid fucking wave analogy. I suppose that's the last thing, but we have kind of told the story behind that. So
a disgrace.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit from Merak at that tribal council, which is why I felt it was my duty to not give any of them the episode title and instead give it to myself.
I will say I looked so out of it at that tribal council. There's one point where everyone's like laughing at someone said, and I'm just sat there, just like completely, just not focused, not listening. So
Well, as you said at the start of the episode, you were very tired, so
exactly,
I'll let you off on that one.
trying to get that energy back.
All right, well, hopefully you get it back for the next round because we're about to do some disc jousting, Lenny. Would you like to tease up episode 8?
Oh yeah, you're about to see some of the greatest disc jousting strategy from me you've ever seen in your life. So look out for that.
Good with that.
I don't have what I'll use
Yeah,
I'll use
that's a little teaser for next episode.
use a sock.
Yeah, disc jousting, a classic spirit game, and the final tribal immunity challenge before the merge. So big stakes as to who gets voted out. Could have a big effect on the rest of the game. Lenny, you
Covered
don't have any
everything.
questions for Faris at all?
No, but I would love to say Faris. It was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank
Uh,
you. It's a
my
pleasure
favorite
being
guest, my
on.
favorite guest so far.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Faris. And hey, of course, good luck in the redemption challenge. There's still a chance that the two of you are facing off against each other. So for one,
Yeah.
hope that doesn't
And if
happen.
we are, I'll be voting you out again.
Well, for all of you Faris fans, stay hyped.
Yeah, I mean, hey, regardless of whether Faris wins or not, we get to see him in at least one more challenge. So we're all very excited for that. Yeah, Faris, thank you so much for joining us this week. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a wonderful time in Norway, and
Thank you.
yeah, congrats once again on the new post in Southampton.
Thank you. I will regret it, I'm sure. Quite quickly.
Bye, everyone. See
Goodbye.
you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you, Faris.
Love you, Faris.
Love you too.
Bye.
Mwah.
I don't like you, Mike.
All right, let's